going on, guys? Chris here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about my Marine Corps recruit training boot camp. I've seen a bunch of videos on it on YouTube and like Instagram and stuff about people's experience, so we're going to pretty much talk about mine. First things first, I shipped off to recruit training September 8th, arrived to Parris Island, I believe sometime September 9th, like 1 in the morning, 12 at night, something like that. So first things first, we're at the airport. We get briefed from a Marine. I don't know if he was a sergeant, staff sergeant, whatever. He said, hey, put your phones into your bag, turn them off, hold your packet, and get on the bus. Fill it in from the back to the front, right? So I get all the way in the back. And now when you're on the bus, they tell you to keep your head down like that the whole time, so you don't know where you're going. But knowing me, I looked up a couple times, looking out the window, pitch black. I didn't know where I was going, right? So we're on the bus. It was probably like a 40-minute drive. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn, I'm here on this bus, man. I'm going to Parris Island. I said, dude, what did I sign up for, right? And we get to Parris Island, and we're doing like a left turn, a right turn. And I'm like looking out the window. I'm like, oh my God, over here, right? So the bus comes to a stop. Oh God. So I like, you have like your receiving drill instructor. So some guy comes on the bus like, you will repeat, or he said something like, anyone with this hat, you will give proper greetings, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, stuff like that, right? So I'm like, oh fuck. I messed up, right? So he tells us get off the bus, right? Get on the yellow footprints. Females in the front and then males in the back, right? So they follow it off like that. So males fill it in, or females are in the front and then the males fill in the back, right? So I went all the way into the back. I was the only one in the last row standing there, right? Standing in that position of attention. I'm somewhat looking around, and then one of the receiving drill instructors goes like, you are now part of the United States, I don't even know how he did it, but he was like, you are now part Parris Island, South Carolina recruit depot station, or something like that. I forgot how he said it, but there's a video on him. Sorry for messing it up, but they all sound like this. Like they have that they talk from the diaphragm, like, you will repeat after me. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. So stuff like that, right? That's literally how they sound. So I'm sitting on the footprints, and they said, you will, and one time only, will go through these silver hatches. One time, right? So they had someone open the doors. We go in. We sit down, and they give you like there's like already a speech that you a dialogue that you repeat on the phone, whoever you call. So I thought we were gonna use the phones on the wall like you see in the videos, but I guess this time you just use your phone. Since everyone has a phone, you just call off your phone instead of the old school payphone, ding ding ding, whatever. I was excited to use that, but unfortunately we didn't get to. So we're sitting in these chairs doing like a whole little thing, like filling out somewhat of a paperwork. Whatever you brought, you're gonna put it in like this bin. So like your phone and all that, you put in like this little bag or whatever, and they collect it, put it in a Foot Locker. But I remember calling my mom, right? I was like, I forgot how it goes. I was like, good evening, recruit Gibson such and such is right, station Parris Island. I will notify you in like 7 to 10 days by a letter. Goodbye for now. But it's scripted, so you're not supposed to say anything else. But I was like, I love you, and I hung up, right? I don't even know if she answered or even heard it, so, right? And we're there, and you're in receiving for 3 days, right? You get your haircut. Now, mind you, I used to have my hair braided. I used to wear a do-rag. Now, my stuff's gone, right? I used to have long hair, but now I gotta groom it up, keep it nice and shaved, right? So, they buzzed us. All my locks were gone, man. I was like, damn. But me, I was like, you know what? Parris Island's going to take my hair, right? So I said, I'm going to shave my mustache before I go because I have like a little mole right here. I didn't want him to clip it. So I shaved my mustache before I went. But I remember they were like, in the videos, they do it all slow and stuff. Like, man, I was in there, they're like, squeezing your head and telling you to shut up and sit like this with your fucking knife hands on your knees, right? And straight ass back. I couldn't keep a straight back for nothing, man. And we're there, right? So we meet the receiving drill instructors. They're all yelling. You're all over the place, right? And the clothes you come in, I'm pretty sure you get switched out, and you get like green on green or something, right? Because you get your uniforms. You get everything issued you in 3 days, right? And the whole time you cannot sleep, right? So you're going to all these other places, like you take photos for your CAT card that you get literally when you graduate. Well, not when you graduate. When you come Marine, that's when you get your CAT card. People get mad when I say CAT card, but it's your CAC. CAC. I forgot what it stands for, but
Common access card.
Oh, okay. Common access card. Good looking. So you get all, like, it has all your information on it, whatever. And we're sitting there. They're like telling us stuff like proper greetings, how to address people, and just learning the little fundamentals before you really get your drill instructors, right? So you're staying up, you can't sleep. I remember just standing there like, I'd fall and I'm like, whoa. And now there's like so many people coming in and out, in and out, in and out, right? And getting yelled at. You're eating what they call box chow. Now, at first, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's either a PB&J, a ham sandwich, or a turkey sandwich. All right, that's the main thing. And then you got like a Nutrition bar, graham crackers, Cheez-Its, and apple. Salt packet, mustard packet. They're like, you will eat your salt packet. You will eat your mustard. You have to stay hydrated because you will pass out here in Parris Island. So, mind you, I remember I ate the yellow mustard packets, and then after that, I stopped doing that, man. That gave me heartburn like a motherfucker. Excuse my language, but fuck that. And they would be like, yeah, put salt in your drinks or your Gatorade or whatever when you go to the chow hall. I wouldn't do that. I drank so much water while I was there. You drink almost a gallon a day, depending on who you are. So, right, you get through receiving. Oh my God, that was horrible. 3 days you couldn't sleep, and then you got all your stuff, you're like processed in. Then your receiving drill instructor takes you, you get more gear, whatever, so that you can begin recruit training whenever you get your drill instructors, right? So I believe I got there Tuesday. So all of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you even go to a class and they're like, hey, everyone put your head down. If you got into like any criminal activity or you done drugs before you got here, raise your hand. This is the only time where we can help you before it gets worse. So speak up now, right? And a lot of people spoke up, right? I don't even know if you ever seen them again. I don't really know. But I know a bunch of people smoked weed and all that before they went, so I don't know. But when it's like a Thursday, the day before you meet your drill instructors, you take a piss test, and you do that in the squad bay. And the squad bay is pretty much where you'll be living. So when I was in recruit training, I was assigned to 3rd Battalion Lima Company. Now there are 6 platoons, 5 male, 1 female. First deck was male. I was lead series, so first deck was males, second deck was females, third deck was males, and then follow series, they were all males. So Friday, right? Black Friday. I don't know why they call it Black Friday. It's not like the shopping. Like everyone thinks like, oh, discounts, whatever. So no, Black Friday is pretty much when you meet your drill instructors. Now, I know different platoons or companies, they vary, but I had 4 drill instructors. Now, I'll never forget it. We're sitting there, right? we're all hunched over like this, and then the company commander comes in, talks to the receiving drill instructor, and talks to him whatever, and stuff like that. Aye, sir, and leaves, and then the company commander, because there's a lead series commander and a follow series commander. So follow series had their commander, we had ours, right? So our commander, who was First Lieutenant Bernie, who now is a captain. Love that guy, great guy. Had great conversations with him, and he's doing pretty good. He's a great Marine, great role model. But that like carry on about that. I'll come back in it later in the story. So he introduces the drill instructors, right? First comes out senior drill instructor, then follows the three. So it's like the kill hat, the knowledge hat, and the drill. Kill hat, knowledge hat, drill hat. So drill is the one that teaches you drill. Knowledge hat is the one that teaches you everything that you got to learn during recruit training, and your kill hat is the one that just slays you, man. Everyone knows what the quarterdeck is, and I know there's more people that got sent to the quarterdeck more than others. So they came in. Our senior drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Hyatt, man, he came in there and gave the Marines speech, and I remember him saying, "You will give 100% of yourselves, even though you have quit on your," or something like that. I don't even want to mess it up because it's a great speech. If you want to know what that is, watch a video on it. There's a bunch of them, or just go to recruit training. Become a Marine. And we literally, he was like, we were sitting there and they had the whole speech, whatever, right? And he was like, "You will get up, get on the lines." Or get on the line, because you got the left side and the right side. You got port side and starboard side, and those are naval terms for like left and right, because the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy, so they use a bunch of naval terms that you will have to learn. But we get there, we're on the line, and they're just blasting everyone, like yelling, screaming, whatever, because it's part of the process. They're throwing you off balance. You just finally got some good sleep last night, but today it's just all over the place, right? You're like, you don't know what to do. You're going left, going right. One's yelling at your face, the other comes out. One tells you to do something, one tells you to do the other, right? So recruit training is 3 months long, approximately 90 days. So 13 weeks. 2 of those weeks, you are a Marine. That's at the end. So I'm pretty much just going to go through the whole thing, right? It's going to be a long video. So the first day, honestly, I don't really remember the first day. It's kind of a blur, but I remember a good amount of it, right? Because you're just doing so much stuff. So pretty much like the schedule, the schedule that's always going to be in play is like you got morning chow, afternoon chow, evening chow. No matter what, you will always eat 3 times a day. So and in recruit training, you go to bed at 8 o'clock. There's no staying up late on that. You have to go to bed at 8, wake up at 4. And you're supposed to have, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're supposed to have 8 hours sleep every night, but you don't get 8 hours of sleep. Because people, during that first week, recruits get assigned to certain jobs. You got people that make sure the racks are always neat. People that clean the head. If you don't know what the head is, that is the bathroom. And there's a thing called the rain room, which is the shower. So you got people that clean the head, the rain room, people that cleans the squad bay. And there's other jobs. I honestly forgot them. And there's Maytag. Maytag is the laundry guy, right? And guess who was Maytag? I was trying to hide from getting a job, right? But literally, me getting that job was actually a good thing. It actually made my recruit training smoother than what others had it, went through. So it actually benefited me when I didn't want to do it. So it actually worked out in my favor. So I was Maytag. I was the head of the laundry room. So that means I had to, mind you, before recruit training, I did my laundry when I wanted to. I made my bed when I wanted to. My mom was like, "Wash your clothes." I'm like, "I am going to wash my clothes. I'm going to do it when I want to, though, I wasn't a nasty guy or nothing like that. I was very clean. I was lazy. did things when I wanted to do them, right? I wasn't letting no one else tell me to do it. So I don't really like doing my laundry, but I do it, right? So for me being lazy, not wanting to do laundry every day, I did laundry every day for 80 motherfucking recruits. It's kind of weird how the world works, right? So it was like karma. I was like, oh yeah, so I got hit with that, right? So I was in charge of laundry. So that means I had to clean it, make sure everything was good, neat. Stuff got done. I even had to do the drill instructor's laundry, that was funny. So, and I was like towards the end of training, I'm in charge of like cleaning all the gear, so that we had to return it back because if it was dirty, they made a big deal and we had to keep doing it, right? So, week 1, you're finding your groove. You're pretty much, figuring out who got these jobs and just adjusting, right? So that like the first week is like pretty much chaotic. The drill instructors are up late at night with you, messing everything up, trying to get you to understand Firewatch because you've got 4 posts. You got post 1, who's in charge of who comes into the squad bay. You take notes of who came in, who left, at what time, who came in. So like rank, when they came in, the time they left, whatever, right? So you have like a logbook, a ruler. You gotta like adjust it, each thing to like whatever. But they teach you all that, right? And you gotta go off the script. I don't really remember the script, but then you had post 2, who was at the head, who came in and out of the head. Only like 5 people can be in at there at a time. Made sure no one left that night because over the years people had snuck out of the squad base and tried to go AWOL and leave. Or people like jumping off 3rd deck and stuff. Or because there's a lot of stuff like people try to kill themselves, like it got real. But my time during recruit training, none of that happened, so that was good. So we started off with like 80 something guys, 80 something recruits, and you wake up 4 in the morning, lights. Well, actually, hold on. Before I even continue with that, there's 4 posts, right? Well, post 1, post 2, and you have 2 rovers that make sure the weapons are there, make sure everyone's in the rack, everyone's accounted for, and just up to make sure everyone's okay, right, while they're sleeping. So, 4 a.m. hits, on the dot. Lights, on the line. Everyone gets out the rack, stands at position of attention, and count off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on, right? It's 80 people. And then the last person does the proper greeting of the morning and the count on deck. And you did that every day. Not even just for sleeping. Every time you got back on deck, you always counted. When you got into formation, you counted. You count everywhere because people try to take it off. You gotta have accountability, make sure everything's good. Because the drill instructors gotta route it up the chain of command. But hey, I believe the drill instructors, they all get accountability. They route it up to their commanding officer, which there was a lead series and a follow series, so that just went up the chain. Just make sure everything's running smoothly, everyone's there. Because in recruit training, they gotta pile in a bunch of stuff within 13 weeks. And it's like chaotic because you got to be somewhere at a certain time. If you're not there at the certain time, drill instructors, they get bitched out at and stuff. So a lot of stuff, they do. It's not because they don't like you or they hate you. But there's some times where drill instructors do not like you. I mean, yeah, they have a script to follow, the training to become a Marine. But at the end of the day, I don't think they really hate anyone besides some that they really don't like. So I will say my drill instructor's name. We had Staff Sergeant Muhammad, who was the oh my God, how do I forget the name just like that? He was our, I'm kind of pissed off now because I kind of forgot it. Oh yeah, he was our senior drill instructor, so he was the main guy. He was like a father figure, the one that would talk to you, mentor you and stuff. Then you had the Kill Hat, Staff Sergeant Leday. Badass dude right there, funny guy, knows his craft. Staff Sergeant Kuricki, who is the Knowledge Hat. Then you have Staff Sergeant Muhammad, who was the drill hat, and yeah, those were our drill instructors. We ended up getting like 2 more drill instructors. They were don't mind him in the background trying to block him out. Like Baby Hats, who's learning to become drill instructor, so they step in for like a week or 2. But other than that, we had 4 drill instructors. Oh, you're shaving your face? I don't even think I can cover you. Sorry, don't mind that guy. So 4 drill instructors, week 1. So week 1 is pretty much you got everything in gear, you're learning. You go to classes. You go to a bunch of classes. Now, I tell you what, I never, ever in my life felt so tired, because you literally be in class and you just be like this. You'd be falling asleep and you get blasted, right? So you're learning like Marine Corps history. You're learning the UCMJ. You're learning what to do, not to do. You go to like all these classes. They teach you about the Marine Corps, stuff like that. And my advice to anybody that wants to go to recruit training or is going to recruit training, educate yourself on the Marine Corps history, because that's like the one that's like really, it's not tricky. They're going to teach you it, but it's good to know your general orders and some kind of history of the Marine Corps, because you get tested on it. I believe there's 3 tests. You got your initial testing, some tests like halfway through, and then your final, which is like overall of what you learned throughout your 13 weeks. This fucking guy ruining the video. So your first test and your second test is different. It's like you got, is it 4 phases? 3 phases? I think it's 4 phases in Marine Corps boot camp. So your first phase, I don't even remember the color or whatever, but I just know the first 2-3 weeks you are pretty much just doing PT in the morning, excuse me, and going to classes. So you get up 04, you eat something really fast, some type of box chow, or you go straight to PT, and then after you go to chow, or you get like a box chow. So you do something like, nothing crazy. I'm telling you, PT there, if you're in good shape, you got nothing to worry about. Because people that go in there, they do their, it's like a practice, like a mock, they call it, your PFT. So you see, because you got your run time, you can't, the max run time for the 3 mile is 27 minutes, 40 seconds. You got to do a plank. I think you got to go more than 1 minute and 5. And then the max on that's 3:45. And then you got your pull-ups. I think the least amount of pull-ups you could do is like 3 or 4. I'm not too sure. It's nothing crazy. And then the max depends on your age. So my age, it was 23. I ended up getting like 15. But if you failed your PFT, the practice, I don't think you have nothing to worry about, because it's like the mock one. But you run the PFT with like lead series and follow series, so it's 6 platoons. Usually the females lead it first. They're in the front of the line. And fuck, dude. This guy see me doing a video and he fucks it up. So don't mind that, my bad. Anyways, kind of threw my train of thought off. So anyways, you do your PFT, right? You do the practice. You do that. You're PTing for like 2-3 weeks, whatever, nothing crazy. And then you have the schedule of the day, which is pretty much drilling, and no one can tell you or practice on how much you're going to drill. You're going to drill every day for like 8 hours. You do your morning chow, whatever, and you go to like afternoon chow, which is like, it's not even really afternoon chow. It's like 11 o'clock you eat it. And then you eat like evening chow at like 4 or 5. You know, like 5 or something like that. It's pretty much like a set schedule. So you're doing that, right? Then you get to phase 2. Phase 2, I believe, is when you start swim qual. Swim qual is like week 4. So during that time, it's like a week or two long, and you got to just swim across the water. I forgot how long it is. It's really not that crazy. You swim across. Well, actually, before you even swim, they teach you all. They teach you techniques, how to float, how to swim, all that. Right? I don't know how some people don't know how to swim, but you'd be surprised. People that fell, they're called iron ducks. I don't know where that name came from. You can search it up, but yeah, they're called iron ducks. So the first day, it's only one day to qual, and some people, I don't know how. So the first, you swim across the water, across the pool. Not long ways, it's sideways. So you just swim from one side to the other. Nothing crazy, right? People failed that. I don't know how. They failed. So I remember swimming across, and then they say, go to your right or left. I forgot. So I went to the right, and there's like 10 of us there. I'm like, we must have failed because there's 10 of us here. I look across the pool. There was, from right to left, there was like 100 people that failed the first event. I'm like, I don't know how the hell you did that. That was like too easy. I actually had fun when I did swim qual. It was probably one of the funnest days I had because you don't really have the drill instructors by you. So you do the second event, which is jumping off the tower into the water, swim, get off at the side. Did that, cool, passed it. More people failed that because they couldn't swim, they got scared or something, whatever. I don't know how, because you swim with your boots, with boots on and your camis. Now when you go there, I think they give you camis or whatever and some type of boots you can wear, or some people wear their own boots. So your third event, you tread water or you try to float. I think for 4 minutes. I floated for 4 minutes, did it, passed it. Nothing. It was lightweight. And then the final event is like you got full gear on and you go underwater, take it off, how fast you can get out, or how fast you can take it off under a certain amount of time. Past that, nothing, right? It took people a week or two to just do the first, like, all that. Like, people got dropped because they couldn't swim. They were scared. Like, I tell you what, I only swam in the summer, and it was probably 1 time, 2 times in the summer. I mean, I swam my whole life from Detroit. I don't know. I don't know how people felt that. They were like, man, Kitchen, how do you know how to swim? I always joked around. I was like, I watched Michael Phelps. That's how I learned to swim. So, I passed swim qual, right? Easy, fun, right? So then after swim qual, you got grass week. No. You got team week. Oh yeah, I locked it. My bad. Team week, and team week is like the whole company. They get task jobs to go across the base and do stuff, whatever, right? During that time, people that failed swim qual, they're gonna keep doing it until they pass it, right? So team week ain't really nothing crazy. That's like week 5, and then after team week. Because I didn't do nothing for team week, so I'm not even really going to talk about it. So, yeah. After team week, I believe it is grass week. Now, grass week, I hated grass week because, in Detroit, I grew up shooting guns. I would go to the rifle range. I'd go to the shooting range, and I'd go up north and go hunting and stuff like that. So that was my experience with shooting guns, or what they would say in recruit training, a weapon or a rifle. You cannot say a gun because it's not a toy from what they say, right? So in grass week, you pretty much learn like the fundamentals of your weapon. You learn your 4 weapon safety rules. If you want to know what those are, you can watch a video on that because I am not going to say them. And so when you're in grass week, you learn the proper positions to help yourself when you go on to range, which is table 1. There's 2 weeks of range. You got table 1, table 2. I don't know if they switched it from the time I got out of there because I heard they did or something, so I don't know the new way. So in grass week, you just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The first day you're like They call it, I forgot what they called it, but I believe the first day you're doing prone. You're laying down, right? And you're like locked in. You find your technique, your form, or whatever, right? So you're literally in the prone for like 8 hours, 7 hours, like looking at this barrel. Like, it's so crazy. Like, it was so boring and so tiring, right? And you're just there doing that. It's like so boring. I think that was like the boringest week. But at that time during grassroots, your drill instructors, I don't think they're allowed to mess with you, because like you're learning your weapon and the proper positions or techniques, you would call it. So Tuesday you do like I think it's the kneeling. You do that for 7 hours. Or no, you do the sitting, then the kneeling, then the standing. Right? You got prone, sitting, kneeling, standing. So I think it's 4. So you do all that, right? And that was a long week. And you get like IT'd every so often. All right, so then you get to table 1. Table 1 is like a week long. Your first day is you zero in your rifle, whatever. It's practice. Then you got to qualify, and then if you didn't, like, they take range so serious. So they tell you, like, hey, wherever you walk, your weapon will be down. Hammer will be open, the chamber will be open, and you put your it's like this little flag you put in. It's just for safety, so they know that your weapon is, what is it called, load show clear, or something like that. They had like this term, brass to grass, tip to ass. So like your brass will be down, and so brass to grass, tip to ass. So like the tip of your bullets will be facing your ass, so that when you pull out, boom, it's easier to pull out and load. So that was its own thing. So the first day you zero in your rifle, you try to find out, like more like how to hold your weapon. They teach you everything, the proper breathing, So I qualified the first day. I shot expert. It was crazy because I shot expert in the rain. It was windy out, so they teach you everything. Like, you got to look at the flag, see how the wind is coming in. So it's like you learn all these fundamentals, and it's kind of overwhelming for some people, but I had it down packed, right? So when you shoot, you have like your first people that do it, like, I don't know what they call it, like your first half and then your second half. So the first half, they're shooting down range, and the other half, they're in the pits who like grade the scoring. So you do that for a couple hours, and then you switch, whatever, right? So I went by. Now we're at table 2. Now for table 2, or was it table 1? Table 1 or table 2, I forgot which one. Depending on where you're at, you will stay in weapons. I forget what it's called, but you're staying in some new barracks. And now I tell you what, the barracks that we stayed in, it was Full Metal Jacket. Like, it was the barracks, the squad bay from the movie. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. I'm pretty sure every Marine's seen that movie before they went to recruit training. And that could be a reason why they joined, because of that movie. Everyone has their own reasons why they joined. But table 2, it's closer. You don't go like 500 yards, 400 yards. I think the farthest you go is probably like 20 yards, 25 yards. I could be wrong. It was a while ago. I forgot. Don't be mad at me criticizing me in this video about, I said some stuff wrong. My bad. But there's other videos you can watch, and they'll talk to you about recruit training. This is just my experience. So, I'm just going through the weeks, and then I'll tell exact experience later on in the video. So, you get to table 2, You do that, you got full gear, you got your Kevlar, which is your helmet, you got your flak, which is your vest and stuff, you got your, I think they call it a utility belt or something, keep your magazine stowed on it. No, for people that don't know what stowed means, I'm not a dictionary, but you learn all this in recruit training, right? Now, once you get done with Table 1 and Table 2, which is the rifle range, you go on to what you call BWT week, which is Basic Warrior Training. Now, during Basic Warrior Training, you're learning how to use a compass, land navigation. You learn different geographic features. I'm not going to go into names on that. I kind of forgot them. You got like a valley. Yeah, I mean, you could just you can watch it in another video. But yeah, sorry about that. I don't remember the names on it. But a ridge line, you learn all that, right? So you do that, and I believe you just learn somewhat how to survive in the woods. It's more mostly like focused on land navigation and stuff like that. If you get lost, could you find yourself home? They teach you all that in the classes you take, right? So during BWT week, you do land navigation, all that. You got to qualify for that. You got to pass. You get like 5 points that you got to look for on a map and the location you're at. I passed that, no problem. And then at the end of the week, you do the gas chamber and the rappel tower. Now, when I did the rappel tower, that was actually really cool. There's 2 different types of rappels you could do. You could do it off the wall, or you could do the helicopter jump where you're like this and you jump off and you whatever. That was pretty cool. I kind of messed myself up when I did the rappel tower, because when I jumped off, I went all the way and I was getting close to the ground, and you're supposed to like come back like so you can ease your way down. I did it too hard and like snapped myself up, and the harness and all that just like almost ripped my off. And I remember just saying, "Oh, my balls!" And the drill instructors laughed at me, and they were like, "Yeah, if you do what we told, you wouldn't hurt yourself, whatever." It was a funny moment. And while you wait for everyone else to finish, you're practicing. You're studying your knowledge book that you're learning, because you got to take tests. You do your initial testing like after, I think like week 5 or something like that, like grass week or team week or something like that. You do your first test, whatever. Then you do your second test after land navigation and all that, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And then you do the gas chamber. A lot of people struggle with the gas chamber. I remember when we went into the gas chamber, that was crazy. I mean, some people had a good time. I didn't like it because I couldn't really breathe. Now, they tell you what to do, when they give you classes, right? So you learn all this before you do it. And one thing is you keep your eyes closed when you break the seal of your mask. Now, for me, I didn't keep my eyes closed. I kept them open. I don't know why. They were telling me, close your eyes, and I kept them open, right? Now, I went to run out of the hut. Everyone ran out, right? I went to run, and I said, nope, you can't run out because they're going to make you do it again. So I stayed in there. They teach you how to clear your mask and all that. So you do that like 3-4 times while you're in there. So you're in the gas room for like 3 to 4 minutes. And I felt like pins in my lungs. I couldn't breathe. And then usually when you get out of the gas chamber, you're snotting. You got to like flap your arms to get all the particles, gas, whatever that cast particles on, you got to get it off, right? And you have an extra set of camis because you take those camis off. Well, actually, you don't have an extra set of camis because you take these camis off, put them in a bag, and you're on green, boots and utes. And then, you do that, BWT week, right? And now it's time for the Crucible. The Crucible is like a Wednesday or a Thursday the following week, and it's like the 10th week. So, it's a Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, it's a Wednesday. It's like a 3-day thing. So it's a Wednesday night. You wake up a Thursday. You do a hike, right? Because you do hikes through the recruit training. Now, I can't really say exactly what you do because it's like you got to go through it to really, like, I don't know. They tell us not to tell people about it because you just got to go through, right? So you do like a bunch of events, teamwork events, and all that, right? And you're constantly moving. I was told that you don't get no sleep at all, but the first day you get 6 hours of sleep, and then the second day you get 4 hours of sleep. So we had a total of 10 hours of sleep, and you do like another hike late at night. I'm just gonna talk about the hikes because you're traveling. I think you go over like 54 miles on foot all together over the 3 days, right? Because you're constantly going to different events, or whatever. And those were pretty cool. I remember, I'm just gonna talk about one thing. You got like a fighting event, right? And I believe this is on the video. And the only reason why I'm gonna talk about this is because my lead series commander was like, he seen me and he like knew my face, and he talked to me often during recruit training. And he was like, "Oh, Gibson, you're gonna be fighting here, right? You better win. Better whip his ass." And I went in there, whipped the shit out of this guy, right? And you can't do face shots, just body, right? This guy couldn't do nothing. So he's like, "Oh, okay, Gibson. I see where you're from. I see about that Detroit. I know you could squabble." And he was like, "Gibson, get back in here." My lead series commander made me fight like 4 or 5 people in a row, back to back. And I whipped all their ass. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not the best fighter or whatever, but I'm from Detroit. I hold my own. I stand my ground. There ain't no hoe in my blood. Excuse my language, but we get down. So I earned his respect. He was like, "You earned my respect, Gibson," and he hit me with the, you're gonna do pretty good. You just got to get through the rest of the days and see if you become a Marine. So that was cool. I was super tired. I was exhausted off of that. My cardio is not the best, but when you do boxing, man, that takes a toll on you. You lose use a lot of energy during that, like a minute or two. So did that like five times when you're only supposed to do it once. He made me do it 5 times, which is cool. And then you just do a bunch of other events, and then you go through all that, and then you do the final hike back to the parade deck. You walk by the Iwo Jima monument, go on the parade deck, and then your drill instructors, they give you the EGA, the Eagle Globe and Anchor. That was a cool feeling. A lot of people were crying. I was not crying. I don't know. I was just in the moment, like, dang, you said you wanted to go to recruit training. You wanted to become a Marine. Now you became a Marine. Right? So it was like a surreal moment. So I'm just sitting there like, what? And then got my EJ, and then after that, you don't go and shower. You go straight to the chow hall where you have your warriors breakfast. You eat with the drill instructors, the officers, and the chain of command, whatever. They give you your food. They say congratulations, whatever. So I sat with my senior drill instructor. I was eating, whatever. And then my kill hat was like, "Hey, let's let you know, Gibson, this is the last time you're coming in the chow hall because you're going to be cleaning. You're going to get all our gear ready, right?" So I did that. I wouldn't go to the chow hall for a while. Only in the mornings when my kill hat wasn't there, because he wouldn't let me go to the chow hall, which was funny because when they left, I didn't have nothing to do. I finished everything like in the first couple of days. So those last 2 weeks, I would just sleep, So I had an extra hour of sleep or whatever whenever they went to go eat. So I was just chilling, honestly. And then, you have your family day where you practice for graduation. You got family day, your family comes out, you do your moto run, all that, pretty cool. You spend the day with your family for a couple hours, and you go back to practice for graduation. Then the next day you graduate. I graduated in my dress blues, which is pretty cool. Then I left. I had my 10-day leave, 10-day leave, which was pretty cool. Had a great time. But now that I got through the weeks of what you can expect, right? So when I was in boot camp, I remember like one of the first few days when I got to the chow hall, I was sitting there because like in the chow hall you could there's like one screen where you could see the time and date. And I remember sitting in the chow hall, standing in the chow hall line, looking at it, and I was like, dang, I got 88 days left to go. The next day, I got 87 days to go. And I was like, I got 80 days to go. I got 70 days to go. I got 60. Then I was like, I got 30. Then I got 20. I counted all the days. I had my mom send me a calendar so I can mark the days off, see what weeks I was in. Some people say that made time go by slower, but it actually made time go by quicker for me because I could see, okay, there's 2 weeks where you're Marine, so that means there's 11 weeks. Your first week or two, you're not doing nothing, you're just drilling, and you do your initial drilling. So you got week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you got swim week, team week, grass week, table 1, table 2, and BWT. So I was like, oh, okay, I only got 6 weeks here. Really was there for 13 weeks, but I was like breaking down the time and just making my day easier pretty much because no one's day is really that easy in recruit training. So me being Maytag, I didn't have Firewatch. I only had Firewatch like a couple times. I was lucky on that. And I'd stay up for a couple hours and do laundry, make sure the towels are clean, all that, right? And then one day, it was like table 1, we were soaking wet. And my senior drone instructor looked at me and said, yeah, Gibson, you're going to be cleaning our camis tonight. I said, sir, I know I'm going to be up. This recruit's going to be up for another 4 or 5 hours and I get no sleep. He looked at me and said, huh? 4 or 5 hours? You're only supposed to do Maytag for an hour. And I said, what? Aye, sir. So from that day on, I hired me a crew. I had like 6 people that worked Maytag with me. And I worked the first shift. I did 30 minutes, and I was done. Because that whole time in recruit training, I was getting like 5 hours sleep. I was exhausted, so I took my 5 hours to 7 hours of sleep real quick, So that was cool. And see me, I've always made people laugh my whole life. And when I got to recruit training, I made all my drill instructors laugh, and I paid for it. So every time I talked to my kill hat, I had to go up to him, about face, and talk to him with my back turned to him, because every time he looked at me, something I would say or whatever, because my voice, he always would laugh. And I remember we're studying for our test, and the kill hat goes around, picks out recruits to the ITM, and he picked me. I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, this recruit is kind of dumb and really needs to study so he doesn't get dropped. Can I please study? And he looked at me and said, you know what, Gibson? Yeah, you're good. You could study. And then pick someone else. And then they just got slayed, right? But there was a bunch of people in my platoon that would go up to the drill instructors or kill hat and be like, I want to get IT'd. I want to get IT'd. And they'd be like, what? They'd be confused because, they're not really used to that. So, people would just go up for fun, for shits and giggles, and just want to get IT'd. Our senior drone instructor said, you're going to be here for 3 months. These are your personal trainers. You don't got to pay for them. Go get IT'd, get in better shape. So we did that, right? It's crazy. The people in recruit training probably never went to church as much as they did until they got there, because every Sunday you go to church. Sunday is like a relaxed day, not like a relaxed day, but it's more calm, more lenient compared to the other days, right? Because on Sundays you wake up at 5 a.m. instead of 4, you go to church, and you're pretty much just getting everything completed and ready for that Monday for the next training schedule. So Sunday you could consider a relaxed day. And people went to church. They went to their services, and I had a blast at church because every week you went, you seen, like, they move you. So you started here when you first got to recruit training, then you get moved over here, and you just see the progress. Like, wow, when I get to those seats over there, I'll be a Marine, right? So, went to church every Sunday because I didn't want to be in the squad bay with the drill instructors. And did that. church was pretty cool. And on Sundays, I believe it's the commanders, commanding officer. You know, they come and inspect your body. You get green on green. Make sure that you're not hurt. Make sure you got proper hygiene. Make sure your face is shaved, your nails are clipped, and you're just good. You know, make sure you're safe or whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So, you know, recruit training is 90 days, approximately 13 weeks. Some platoons and companies had it better than others. I would say I had a great recruit training experience. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. We had other platoons that we saw that had it really bad. I remember, like, when you get your boots bloused, I think in second phase, we never had our boots unbloused. Other platoons, when they did bad or didn't do good, whatever, didn't perform well, their instructors, drill instructors would make them unblouse their boots and walk around looking goofy. But our drill hat stood out. You see that? I'll never do that to you guys, because my platoon is my platoon, and we're going to hold the standard, and we're going to look sharp everywhere we go. And during recruit training, you got different, like it's like events, like every week, like of who did what and who wins this and that, whatever, right? You got like who won initial drill, who wins final drill, who won like the most physically fit platoon. There's like a bunch of awards you can win that the drill instructors win that they can add to their trophy collection. And yeah, that was pretty cool. My platoon never won anything. I don't know how. I guess we were just dog shit from what everyone said. But I think we were like one of the best platoons there, because we shot best on the rifle range, which really matters. And when it came to the important stuff, you know, we won it. We didn't win in drill. That's, you know, they say drill distills discipline to the body. I thought we did pretty good. We failed that. I don't know how we failed drill, but we did. Yeah, so that was that. I remember my senior drill instructor said, "It's all right. We didn't win nothing, but I didn't come here to make you guys dancers. I came here to make you guys Marines." And he made us Marines. We went through everything together. He even did the obstacles and the events during the Crucible with all of us, which was pretty cool. It showed how we were all together. We were one team. And even though he's a Marine and went to the Crucible before, when he was a recruit, he still did it with us. So that was pretty sweet. Yeah. Like, recruit training was kind of a blur, but it was pretty cool. It sucked, you know, you're not able to contact your family. You're only able to write letters. And I remember it was like a month and a half, almost 2 months, I didn't receive a letter. I got a letter or a piece of mail from Navy Federal about my check, and that was about it. And I remember people were getting 5-10 letters from their family, and I was just like, dang. But I ended up being able to contact my family and write them, which was pretty cool. Family day and graduation was really cool. I got to see my family for the first time in 3 months. They seen the change in me. Yeah, I went in as a city boy from Southwest Detroit. Went in, was a recruit, came out a Marine. And probably one of the best decisions I made so far in my life, from the background environment that I came from. Not too many people could say they made it out of the hood or chose to get out of the hood. I chose to get out. I had the opportunity and I did it, which was a blessing. Yeah, so anyone that's going to recruit training, my advice for you is, yeah, be in shape. And at the end of the day, it's more mental than physical. Sorry, there's a guy pissing in the back. I don't even know. You probably can hear him. But it's more mental than physical. So if you could study your Marine Corps history, learn your general orders, and just proper greetings, like if you have respect of already saying yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and have all that, you'll be good. It's more mental than physical. There was a lot of long days. Like they say, the days are long, but the weeks are shorter. I don't know where they came up with that one, but I guess that's true. So, you know, get used to shitting, showering, shaving with other people. I remember the first week we got to the squad bay, there's 8 of us, and we all stopped before we went into the shower, which is the rain room. And we all looked at each other like, damn, we really got to shower together? We showered together. It was crazy, man. Like, yeah. It's like if you go into a LA Fitness locker room, never look down, you know, or you're going to get scared. And in recruit training, just don't look down. Just keep your head up and shower as fast as you can, because you're only going to have like 30 seconds, which is crazy because they talk about proper hygiene and being clean, but you don't have that much time to shower, which is crazy. Until like the end of the cycle, like when you get like when you become a Marine and all that, you're good. You have time to shower and all that, and you have time. Like at first, the first couple weeks, it's really fast paced. You don't have enough time to shower, and then like over time, you get time to shower. Like that 30 seconds turns into 2 minutes or a minute. So I never showered that fast in my life until I got there. You know, you got to go to the head, which is the bathroom. You got to take a buddy with you. So they tell you to drink all this water. You know, you got to drink water, stay hydrated. I got to the point where I wasn't even drinking a lot of water because every time I had to go piss, they wouldn't let me. Like, there's certain times when you go to the bathroom. So I said, you know what? If you're telling me to drink a gallon of water and I can't go piss, I'm not going to drink all this water because I got to put my stuff in a schedule where I'm like, okay, I can piss at this time. I could piss at that time, so I'm not going to drink all this water because I'm going to have to piss a lot, which I did. It was just like a fireman's hose, like just pissing and pissing and pissing, man. It fucking sucked. And I don't know how I did it, but I trained my body to only shit at nighttime. And like during the night, like we would be drilling, doing all this stuff, and they say you got a minute to shit or use the head, right? People were taking shits, and I know you don't have enough time to wipe your ass. They're just quick as hell, and I was like, I'm gonna call all you skid marks. You guys all didn't wipe your ass, you nasty motherfuckers. Excuse my language. And I remember one time I was in the head, right? I'm using the bathroom, and like everyone on the line, right? And this dude just sat down next to me, got up, wiped one time, and went to walk away. I said, "Hey, man, you wipe once and you're done?" He said, "I was raised by a Marine, and we do things quick." And I was like, "Yeah, what? You were raised by a Marine not to wipe your ass?" So ever since that day, I called that dude skid marks because he did not wipe his ass properly. And yes, I was fast using the bathroom, but I made sure I was clean before I got up. I would take the heat of getting yelled at and getting fucked up because I'm making sure my ass is clean. I ain't walking around smelling like shit, you know? And that was foul because some people just were bad. Like, some people wouldn't even brush your teeth. It was horrible, right? So, you know, you did all that. You went through the experience. You know, you learn how to use the loopholes to make your time there easier, or try to make it as when I went through recruit training, I made it as easy as I possibly can for me. I didn't want to think of the little things and have a bad day and dwell on certain things. So I try to make it as easy as I could for myself so I can just get through recruit training, get through the day, get through the training or whatever we had to do that day. Because everywhere you're going, you're on a time frame, so you are going places. If you think, oh, you messed up, whatever, and they're yelling at you, whatever, you really didn't mess up. They're just on a time frame, so they got to get you a certain place at a certain time. So if you think, okay, I messed up, I'm getting IT'd, right? You can only be IT'd for so long, but they got their ways around that, because I remember one time I got IT'd for like 40 minutes straight, and I don't even think you're supposed to be IT'd that long. I remember my kill hat IT'd me, And then like something snapped at me, like I just was like in the mode and I was just going hard, right? And he kept ITing me more. And then I think our first sergeant or someone came in, and when you get IT'd and you gotta be like, all right, sir, good afternoon, good, proper green, whatever, right? It's a whole thing and it messes you up every time, right? Because you fuck it up. And I just kept messing up the proper greeting because he was like, oh, you're looking at me? Get down, right? And then when I get up, you gotta do the proper greeting, and I messed up again, and then you just keep getting IT. So I got IT for like 40 minutes. And I don't even think you're supposed to get IT'd that long, but I got IT'd a lot. And yeah, looking back, it sucked. I remember one time, it was like table 1 on the range, and someone said something to me, and I said, man, I'll fuck you up. And then one of the drill instructors, not mine, another one, looked at me and said, huh? What'd you say? You over there showing teeth, boy? He said it just like that. And I know he was Southern because of his accent. He said, you showing teeth? He said, okay, I'm about to put what's your name? Put it in the group chat because they're all connected. They all have a group chat they talk to. He said, oh, they're going to know you. And in my head, I'm like, they already know who I am. I get fucked up every day. So I go later that day, or it's the next day, my drill instructor, the coach, said, hey, yeah, go grab some towels. Grab some towels. He said, make sure they're wet. Or no, he didn't even say that yet, right? Told me to fill up a bucket and go to the rain room. He was like, yeah, since you want to show your ass off on range, you're about to show your ass off in here, right? So he got like 5 recruits, and he said, dip the towel in the bucket, get it wet, right? And now, hands on the towel, and then like, you know, like when you do like a bear crawl, like your back's up, your ass is in the air, and you like gotta crawl, whatever. So you put your hand on the towel, you can't get up, you can't put your knee down on the deck, which is the ground, and we literally did, I swear, like 100 laps in the bathroom, which is the head, going each corner all the way around. I kept getting resetted, and we did that for like an hour. And I was sweating really bad and hurting. And what they say is, pain is weakness leaving the body. And they're just instilling discipline in you. You know, don't try to cut corners. Don't try to show your ass, which I didn't show my ass. The dude was talking to me, and I pretty much defended myself, and I guess I shouldn't have done that, and I had to pay the price for it. And I remember being in the pits with my friend, and we had the earplugs in because they were shooting, right? And I just remember singing, when I come home, I'm going to end up, I forgot how I said, because I saw this like Jordan Peele skit, and he said, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Iraq, when I come home, or it was like, when I come home with PTSD from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Iraq, to get played on screen by Marky Mark. So I was singing that in the pits, and one of the drill instructors heard me. So, oh, you sing, huh? Oh, yeah, you're really going to get PTSD. And he told my kill hat, because him and my kill hat were really good friends. And I remember later that night, I said, dang, man, 2 days in a row, I'm going to get messed up again. And I remember going to the squad bay, and I was talking to my kill hat, and we went into the laundry room, and he was just laughing at me like, dude, you just say the most random, funniest shit ever. And me and my kill hat just always had like those moments where we can leave the squad bay, go into the laundry room, and just like talk and have like good moments, right? So my drill instructors were great guys. At the end of the day, they're great Marines. And I've always talked to my drill instructors, and we always had funny moments and had great times, even though you're not supposed to, right? You know, they're there to train you and all that, but there was moments where, you know, we talked and just had that moment, right? And I remember my senior drill instructor was telling me, yeah, you're going to be a great Marine. You know, you're going to do good things, whatever. I'm glad you didn't quit and didn't give up, and you kept pushing through, you know. And I talked to him in the duty hut. And when you become Marines, you know, you don't say sir. You You greet them with their rank, staff sergeant, sergeant, whatever they are. And we just had great conversations and talked about recruit training. And then it's like one of the last nights before you leave, you do like impersonation of your drill instructors. And that was a great time. That was really funny. We had great times. Just funny moments that would happen through recruit training. You look back on whether you're a gunnery sergeant, master sergeant, first sergeant, sergeant major, master guns, sergeant, staff sergeant, corporal, lance corporal, no matter what rank you are, you're always going to remember those times you had in recruit training, whether they're good or bad. Every moment shapes you and builds your character of who you eventually become. And yeah, recruit training wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's more mental than physical. I have a lot more experience in recruit training that I can't really just all cover in this video because one, I don't remember at the top of my head and I'd have to go into conversation and think of something. But yeah, we started off with 80-something people. Over the course of the 13 weeks, people get dropped from other companies. You pick them up, they get dropped, whatever. So my graduating class, I believe, was like 71. You got your guide, your squad leaders. Now, I could have been a guide and squad leader, but I just wanted to eat. I was front of the line, and I was in the first table, and I had time to eat. Other people, the other recruits, did not have time to eat. So, yeah, I could have got promoted being a squad leader or a guide, but I was like, nah, I'm good. I want to eat because I was just starving. Like, you get so hungry when you're in recruit training. That's all you want to do is, like the drill instructors always say, oh, you nasty things. All you want to do is eat, sleep, and shit. And yeah, it's pretty much what we wanted to do because it sucked. I remember one of my buddies was like, I know I just woke up, but I look forward to going back to sleep. And we have a whole 17, 16 hours left. But once you get down to scheduling and you get in your routine, you find little loopholes to help yourself and make the 13 weeks a little bit easier on yourself. Everyone's done it. People have done it before us and they will do it after us. You find your little groove. And once you figure out your groove, because I say the toughest thing for me and for a lot of people is like the transition of your lifestyle to become a Marine, and you're just getting told what to do, where to be, what to wear it, how to walk, how to talk. You can't do this, you need a buddy. So everything, you learn has a purpose and a meaning behind it, so don't take it personal. At the end of the day, you could see combat no matter what your MOS is, so it's like they're just preparing you. Don't take it personal. They just got to teach you. It's everything has a reason behind it and a purpose. Like everything. So if you think it's stupid, it's really not. Yeah, it might seem stupid. Yeah, but there's a reason. Like they say, hey, do this, do that, because if you can't do the small things, and when you like say if you go to war, you don't want to go to war, but people do. Some people do. Some people look forward to that. But when the time comes, you got to be prepared mentally and physically. So it's them small things that help build character, because in the Marine Corps and the military overall, if you cut corners and you try to do things the easy way, people will get killed. People will die, and you could get yourself killed. So it's just pretty much teaching you, preparing you of what is like for what to come. I don't even know how to say it, but it's just preparing you for the unknown. You don't want to. You rather prepare and overtrain and do all that than not. But yeah, recruit training. At the end of the day, it was pretty cool. Had some great experience. Met some great people. Met some people that I would love to see again, and there's some people I met that I would not ever want to see again in my life. My drill instructors were great people. I don't know their personal lives, but from what I've seen, they were great individuals, and at the end of the day, they were great Marines. They taught us a lot. Recruits have it tough, but I say the drill instructors have it worse. They have it way harder. They don't get enough sleep. They're constantly moving. They got a time frame. They got to do this. They got to do that. So that's why sometimes you have you see your one drill instructor, and then you might not see him or her for a couple of days because You know, they're just so exhausted. They got so much stuff to do under a certain amount of time. They got to all compress it in 13 weeks. So at the end of the day, you know, try to have like a good time during the bad times, and just remember the drill instructors, they have it worse than you, believe it or not. And if you want to join the Marine Corps, do it. One of the best things that I've done so far in my life, and I know I'll continue to do great things. But like I heard this quote, and I'm going to do quotes in every one of my videos because they were inspiration to me. When you're afraid to jump, that's when you jump. Take every opportunity that comes your way, because when you're afraid to jump, that could be the time where you're supposed to jump, and that decision will change your life. You know, if you're hesitant and scared to do it, do it. That's the time to do it. You know, it was uncomfortable. You know, I said all these things that I wanted to do, and I did it. You know, I'm a great example, and there's many other great examples out there that came before me and will come after me. You know, when I die and carry on, the Corps will still be here. And if you want to join the military, do your research. You know, I was going back and forth with the Army, then the Marine Corps, and then I was like, man, I'm going to the Marine Corps. Now, comedian route, you know, it's like, go to the Air Force, you know, don't go to the Marine Corps. You know, you want the easy life, go to another branch. But, you know, the Marine Corps makes you who you are, either makes or breaks you. Sometimes people, when under pressure, when they get squeezed, they explode or they expand, you know. So yeah, do it. If you want to have a conversation with me about the Marine Corps, and if you wanted to join, thinking about joining, you can contact me. You can get in touch with me on Instagram, whatever. You know, I'm an open book. I can tell you a bunch of knowledge about it and what I've learned so far. I don't know if I'm going to do an MCT video. I know it's going to be way shorter than this. I don't even know if I should add it into this, but yeah, MCT was its own little thing you do after your 10-day leave. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of long. Some details I didn't really get into. There's going to be other videos where I talk like other experiences, but it's just kind of hard to think of some stuff, you know, on the spot. Because like, only way I can remember some stuff is like during a conversation, like, oh yeah, I remember this happened. This is what we did, or this is what we went through, right? But for recruit training, it's more mental than physical, but be in good shape. You don't want to be that one. Proper greetings, you know, have respect. You know, if you have respect, you'll be good. And just learn some Marine Corps knowledge. That's like the big one. Just learn as much as you can before you join. They're going to teach you all that in there, so don't worry about it. But to better yourself, because if you fail anything and all that, you will get dropped to another company. And their goal is to make you become a United States Marine. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And the power's in your hands. Like I tell everybody, don't take any wooden nickels. Trust me, they don't spin very well. Peace.